You guys, have either of you seen Ferrari?
No, not yet.
Check it out. That's all I'll say.
I know you've kind of brought it up, but I can still. You've been thinking about it still.
It's one that like, it's still stuck with me, and I don't really see that many people talking about it as much as I'd like to.
Okay.
So
The Northman.
yeah, right. It's kind of that same thing, except it's very much like, I don't know. It's like the Michael Mann thing of like, oh, it's getting a little bit of buzz, but like once it's out, like I don't really see many people talking about it.
Yeah. Well, Napoleon's not.
No, but I meant
Napoleon
like
doesn't deserve the buzz.
But like people talk about it, then it went away, and that can go for either movie.
Kinda, yeah.
But this one, yeah. I mean,
I
do want to check it out
because
I liked Ford vs. Ferrari. You've seen Ford vs. Ferrari.
Very good.
Yeah.
It's one of those things too where like you could fall either way on it, and I'd understand, right? Yeah. Like personally, I really like that movie, but I'd be curious to see where you guys fall on it, especially with your guys' relationship with Michael Mann.
Oh, I forgot he directed. It's a biopic though.
Yeah, he did. Man, he made Thief 40 plus years before he did this. Old directors coming back. Scorsese,
Michael Mann, Ridley
hey,
Scott.
I want a round of applause, you guys. My two favorite movies of last year, Killers of the Flower Moon and Beau is Afraid.
Beau is Afraid. I defend that movie 100% whenever someone talks to me about it.
Same here.
When Mackie said in the podcast, he goes, I have the same level of anxiety with it. And I was like, or like you feel it in your day to day.
Yeah.
I was listening to that while I was running on a trail, and literally like every person I was coming across, this was before I watched the movie. And then after I watched that movie, I was dying laughing because there's so many times you're like, you go to Rite Aid and you're just like, I just need to run in and grab something. I don't want to talk to somebody. Oh my God, is that guy yelling at himself in the corner? Oh my gosh, please don't look at me. Oh my gosh, he's walking up to me. Scan your card and sprint out of there.
That's how my theater experience watching Beau is Afraid was.
Yeah.
With, like the people I was in the theater with. It was fucking nuts. I wasn't sure if they like hired actors to like go in there and just fuck with me personally, but boy howdy, was it an experience, and it kind of immersed me a little too much in that film. Let me tell you.
Preston called me 3/4 of the way through the film, so I talked to him for 20 minutes and came back in. So I missed the whole sex scene.
Oh. Not tonight, but we need to have I would love to talk to you guys about some of the elements of that movie, but
yes,
we'll table it.
Another day.
Yeah. So, hey, you got the quote, Spider-Man 3 in the synopsis.
Shoot. Oh,
you better.
I had that whole time
lead
too.
It up. Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if you could just pop one off the top of your head.
Parker?
Yeah.
I mean, I can tell what character you are.
Let me read an
Eddie
actual
Brock.
quote. Yeah, where he's looking up there. Like, he's ripping the thing off.
Oh, dude, this movie, yeah.
This tar off his body. All right, hold on. I'm going to give a proper quote here.
All right.
There's so many to choose from.
Oh, boy.
It's hard to pick a favorite, especially with this movie.
Yeah, I forgot about all of James Franco from this movie. How is it? So good.
So that scene specifically is so ruined for me. I mean, you know, a lot of this movie is like tainted, right? But this scene specifically, when he's eating the pie and she comes up to him and says that, there's a video that I really like. It's like a kind of joke review of Spider-Man 3 by Video Game Donkey. I don't know if either of you have heard of him. He's like a YouTuber who like mostly reviews video games, but every once in a while he does a movie. And he made this edit where it's that scene where she comes up to him and goes, "How's the pie?" And instead of saying "so good," he just goes, "Oh," like the Tim Allen grunt that just cuts in. And I think of that every single time I watch that scene, no matter if it's with the edit or without the edit.
So is that good or bad?
I'll let you decide. I'll let you be the judge
Isn't
of that.
that terrible that it's like, I'm not sure what way to go on that.
I think it makes the scene better.
Yeah, right.
Maybe.
Okay, let's get into it.
Let's get into Spider-Man 3.
Spider-Man 2007 came out in May of that year, directed by Sam Raimi, written by, oh my gosh, quite a few guys. Well, you got based on Stan Lee and Steve Ditko, screenplay by Alvin Sargent, Ivan Raimi, and Sam Raimi. The story goes as this. Peter,
Lay it for me, cool brother.
I don't know why I'm so nervous, but I'm trying to figure this out in my head.
You're doing a great job.
Peter Parker's back in the saddle again. Bigger, better than ever before. Hold up. Is that an alien landing from space and taking over his body? But essentially, Peter and Mary Jane are continuing their romance. He's thinking about getting engaged, and more baddies come into play. There are 3 villains in this film. One is a continuous storyline with Harry, who's avenging the death of his father from the first film. Venom, which is the most logical and the only villain I knew before the series, comes into play to attack him for personal reasons. And then there's a man made out of sand called the Sandman, who he's robbing banks to do what? Save his family?
Get money for his sick daughter.
Cancer kid.
My daughter's sick.
My daughter's sick.
I'm a bad guy, but I have a good heart. There's a good
I'm not a
person
bad.
in here.
I'm not a bad guy.
I was
I just had
wrongfully
bad
accused.
luck.
And basically the biggest thing that you need to know about this movie is they decided versus making 5 films to just merge the next 3 into this one.
Hold on. Disagree there, but
This was the age of...
That was the glass.
Oh, I'm sure it was, Kyle.
This is 2007. Yeah. This is peak ADHD. We're getting into the internet taking over. We're talking shorter clips, shorter attention span. More is better. Bigger is better. We have to amp it up. We just crushed it in the second one.
That's what the studio execs are saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so the second one technically had 2 bad guys. So let's add another one into this mix for no reason and play ball. I don't know
if I consider Harry a bad guy.
So
he tries to kill him in the first 10 minutes.
They're best friends.
Here's my understanding of what this movie was supposed to be, right from the get-go. Sam Raimi wanted this movie to obviously be a continuation of Harry versus Peter, taking up the Green Goblin mantle, and that kind of being like the conclusion to that story arc, right? He also wanted Sandman to be a part of it and wanted it to, in my opinion, terribly retcon Uncle Ben's death in a way that makes his importance in the film way more prevalent than it should be. But then I think it was Avi Arad, who is a producer on not just this movie, but like almost every single Marvel movie you can think of that's come out the last 20 years.
He's a president.
He came up to him and was like, "Hey, Sam, the kids really like Venom, and I want to sell toys because I like fucking selling toys, brother. How about you put Venom in your movie?" And Sam Raimi's like, "Oh, okay, sure. And then Avi Arad comes around again. He's like, "Hey, how's Venom going?" And it's Sam Raimi's like, "All right, I guess I'll put him in the fucking movie. I'm going to make him lame as shit, but here you go." And like that's kind of like my understanding of what happened. I don't know if I'm entirely being accurate or not.
No, that's not. That's what showed up on film.
Well, no, that is what they wanted. They wanted to tailor more to, like you said, bigger's better, so adding another villain in there, and they wanted to tailor to the fan experience, and the fans were like, so Venom wasn't like to sell gadgets. Venom was a little bit more of a niche villain in the Spider-Man series that a lot of the diehard fans knew and wanted to have in there, so he said, let's get Venom in the film. We're going to tailor this more to the fan experience because the internet's blowing up, so we can get the DVD extras. We'll get on YouTube or whatever. We can hype this thing up a lot more and get a lot more word of mouth going. So they kept Venom on the down low. Not to say that it wasn't like because it was written anyway. I don't know if they had to do any rewrites with this thing, but like Raimi didn't want him in it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if what the plan was with the Sandman though.
It's hard to say because of the movie that we ended up getting, right? You can see the like kind of DNA of like what Sam Raimi wanted in this film versus like what he was forced to put in.
Yes, and him juggling 5 different characters in this thing with, 3 of them having already had arcs in the 6. 3 of them already having had arcs, and
you sound like our boy from the making of Phantom Menace where he's like, you have 4 different tones going on at the same
Oh yeah,
time.
no, dude, it's like, hey, we're getting Gwen Stacy in here, who people know.
Yeah, what?
We're getting Venom in here, who people know, and it's got to be Eddie Brock. And for some reason, they have him deal with Spider-Man first instead of just go straight to Eddie. And then we got to get the Sandman in here. So we got 3 arcs going on, and we're introducing 3 new ones. And by the way, we got to lump all the shit together, and like. And that's why it's like I don't fault Raimi at all for the final product.
Yeah, it feels like one of those projects that the studio just had their claws on.
Oh, yeah.
He said so in the thing it just said he didn't really have a whole lot of creative content. Like he didn't
control.
Yes, he didn't have that control. So like when the RV comes in, it's like, hey, we're doing this. You're doing it.
Yeah.
And
on this rewatch, it was something that I don't think I was able to quite put into words until now, that I kind of took out of this most recent viewing experience, is that not only does this movie feel like a jumbled mess, not only does it have too many things going for it, like too many villains, like too many storylines it's trying to balance, that it's just like fumbling, right? To me, it doesn't really have a lot of what I liked about the first 2 movies in the way of the style of the film. Like, it kind of feels like a more toned down, lukewarm version of what makes Sam Raimi's movies so stylized and special, right? It doesn't have nearly as much of like the fun of it. It doesn't have nearly as much of the like zany editing and like the cool cinematography and like all the different fun things that went into the first 2 films. And I think it's because they wanted this movie, especially with like the inclusion of Venom and like the black Spider-Man suit, to have like a darker tone. It wanted to take itself a little more seriously, and I feel like that makes more sense when you think about like the inclusion of Venom, the black Spider-Man suit, and the like very melancholic way that this movie ends, and Harry's death in this movie.
Well, or you take it to the next level and just say he didn't give a shit because he lost all creative control. And like, it's not necessarily taking it serious. There's just no passion behind it.
With anybody.
Huh?
With anybody. Like, the actors didn't want to do it.
Dude.
Everybody was tired. Everybody was gassed. That's, there's so many... There's just nobody there that is, like, the driving force that's, like, super... Like, picture Robert Downey Jr. with Iron Man. Like, he,
Yeah.
He's got some serious passion behind that character, and it means a lot to him. These guys are like... Yeah, like, these guys are...
Dude.
Everybody's checked out.
Yeah. You're going from scene to scene to scene. You can't really focus on Peter. You have to have him. I mean, dude, think about it enough. Spider-Man 2 is great. He's got a struggling relationship with Harry and Mary Jane, right? And he's with the balancing act, right? Well, let's take out the responsibility because now he's identified who he is as a person, right? He's developed his own identity. He's going to be Spider-Man. Well, I guess we just can't have more of that balancing act. I mean, that whole thing took 2 hours, so... We'll water down the relationship with Mary Jane. We'll thrust in like something's got to be happening, and they have some obviously communication problems, which maybe could be a metaphor for the whole fucking franchise. Harry's going to spice up. We have to figure out how we can make Harry bad, but we also have to get 2 more people in here. Like, there's just not enough time to develop anyone.
Yeah.
Everyone in this film is one note. I mean, like, literally you had 3 people that you built up to that point that you just brought right, like, Mary Jane literally goes to damsel in distress.
Yeah.
Well, not only that, but Harry, the only time you like see him interact with Peter before he attacks him is like outside of the street of the play.
Yeah.
Right? And then they have like that little snarky exchange. He's like a depressed emo boy. He goes back, gets the goblin injection or whatever, like the goblin serum, because he comes out of the whole like green cloud
which is kind of like, where did he find all this?
And then I love that it like swoops between like 3 different masks, of which he chooses like the lamest looking one.
Yeah.
And like the most like bland, like whatever.
Bland
He probably thinks the other ones were like too cringy and like, monsters, cartoons. This is stupid.
I will chime in with trivia because I think this is the last one I read, so most of it.
No, go for it.
Well, they wanted him to be his own. They wanted to step away from the Green Goblin, so all the masks that they shown were iterations of the Green Goblin in the comics. So that's why
Gotcha.
that's why it was the blandest, least creative one, because
I mean,
they made it on their own.
I get it. It's, I don't know. There's a different way you can do that and still have it
Agreed.
be like popping and
Oh, yeah.
exciting. You know, not
What
just
was
like
his-
some
what-
guy
what-
that
what
looks
the
like a
mask looked
biker.
like? It was just his.
I don't remember.
Was it
It's just
a
like
helmet?
it's literally just like a face, like a smooth, kind of like plasticky looking face mask that had like some sunglasses that came with it, like goggles or whatever. And that's it. It didn't have any sort of like shape or like pop or fun to it at all. It just looks like almost like a ninja, basically. Which, you know, is apropos to it. Third time to use that, by the way,
Nice.
because he has like the weird sword or whatever. So he's going for like a more ninja look.
I guess.
I don't know.
I do
Sky
like the
Jitsu.
sound of
Right.
that sword or whatever that he has. Like, that's, you know, there's still some good in this, like the sound of his sword.
I like the, you know,
That's a good job.
There's some-
We'll keep fighting it.
there's some interesting ideas, but like
Yeah.
the first scene you see of them interacting, besides that like outside the play scene, is like him immediately attacking Peter. It's like there's nothing there to like kind of like set it up or like nothing
What's
to build
the
on it.
opening scene or shot? Does it go right into the Sandman in this one, where
I
he's
think-
like on the run? So we start off with a character that we don't know.
Let's find out.
You got your notes.
No, I don't think so. I think there is a scene where like it happens before that, but it does immediately
No, it
cut to
does.
Sandman. Does it start with him leaving?
No, but I go from my notes go terrible effects to trying to cram different themes into another amnesia case. Harry forgot everything.
It like
Yeah,
it
oh
like
my-
jarringly cuts to Sandman escaping, or like what is his name? Like fucking
Flint Marco.
Flint Marco. Yeah, he had like some weird like burglar name or
He had
something.
the worst outfit of anybody in these movies.
Oh, you don't like the green striped shirt?
Like these giant pants.
Another
Oh, yeah, the big
stupid
cargo pants
fucking
he's got.
thing is he gets infused with sand, and apparently so do his clothes. So every time he comes back, he's just in that outfit.
but not the necklace for some reason. That stays itself.
It can't. Shouldn't he be like? If you're the Sandman, wouldn't it be, like you can clearly shapeshift? Wouldn't it behoove you to shapeshift into anybody other than a wanted criminal that people are trying to escape? That
no,
people
you
are on
can't.
the lookout for.
That's the bird, the cross he bears. Is that he just in the green shitty striped shirt and cargo pants?
And the science
He
behind
can't
his
change his
character,
clothes
too.
at all.
yeah, that's the burden.
Like,
Oh, the
he
science
can't-
behind
he can't,
it?
He can't carry the necklace, but yet he can carry bags of coins and cash. That again, stealing from Dr. Octopus.
He eventually does carry the necklace. It's just like a whole struggle of him to form into a man again. Like
Yeah.
that's why that whole scene is called like the birth of Sandman. He's just trying to like figure out how his body functions.
Great origin story, by the way. That's
Yeah.
a great. This is Bruce Wayne. We're giving the whole ninja experience on the mountaintop. Sandman is going to be like a baby fawn popping out of the womb.
And talking about like going back to scientists and doctors being stupid in these movies.
Oh, yeah.
where they're like looking at the like the sensors and they're like, oh, something's in the pit. Ah, it's just a fucking bird. It'll fly out. Don't worry
Oh,
about
by
it.
the way, it's a bunch of scientists, and I think they're with the military. So, like, they're just all these different departments of the government. They're
and
just throwing
he's
in here.
running from dogs, and he sees a fence that says "keep out" and like falls in the thing.
That's the best security they have is a 5-foot barbed wire fence.
Yeah.
I don't even know if it's barbed wired. He got over it pretty clean.
And you want to talk about poor casting? Like, let's get Thomas Hayden Church in this role and don't act, no expression,
Yeah.
monotone. You're
We
barely
liked you
gonna
in
talk.
Sideways. You were really fun in that.
He was another Oscar-nominated actor.
Yeah.
In these movies, by the way.
Hey, he's not a bad guy. Just had bad luck.
Mary, what do you want me to do? You just
She's-
can't stay here. You're a wanted criminal.
She's my daughter too.
Yeah, I know, and she's sick. You know she's sick. We all know she's sick. I want to get her better.
Mm-hmm.
Lazy, fucking just.
Well, you're sitting there. You're like, yeah, this is pretty lazy. Oh, that's okay. They're gonna pick it up with Harry and Peter here. Ooh, nice little fight scene. Okay, getting a little unrealistic. Oh, got your bell rung. Oh, we're going amnesia.
He has short
Oh
term.
my god, the fucking
and
amnesia story. Jesus Christ.
He's got-
amnesia.
I almost
short-term
forgot
memory.
about it.
He
Wow.
doesn't remember anything from the last hour, but everything up to that, he's fine.
He conveniently
Or no.
doesn't remember everything that happened like
Bits and
before his
piece-
father died,
Yeah,
right?
bits and pieces of his memory are gone. Like he won't remember the fight. Oh, and by the way, he's not going to remember the father, but he'll remember you guys being friends and those memories in between.
Yeah.
Hey, buddy. I hit my head.
I'm a CEO.
My dad, he's dead, right?
Oh my god.
And then he like, meet me at the house. And he comes in, he's like, hey, my
They
old
played-
basketball.
Yeah.
I remember this.
No, the funniest part of that is like in the hospital room when like him and MJ are there like looking at Harry in the bed. You can like Peter's not even trying to hide the fact that he's like filled with glee at the fact that like he got the easiest out possible from like dealing with the consequences.
I don't
of
have
Harry,
to
right?
fight him. They just wrote him out.
He's basically like skipping down the hall. He's like, "Oh wow, my friend's back."
It's a
like-
passive aggressive fantasy.
Oh, dude, you know he was stoked.
Like, I can get out of this confrontation without any
Easy.
sort of conflict.
Yeah, I don't have to. Yeah.
Oh my god, I love that so much. And then yeah, they're playing basketball in his house. Bernard's there. They're shooting hoops.
Bernard, make us some food.
It's Bernard, sir.
You must have hit your head real hard.
Sir, remember you were supposed to call me Master, Bernard.
And all the stuff with, and it really only goes for like, they basically go like, when they're writing this, hey, what should we do with Harry for this first hour of the movie? I think it's only 45 minutes that we're going to develop the Sandman. We're going to put Peter into the emo world, and we're going to introduce Eddie Brock. It's like we can't do anything with him. If anything that he does is going to advance that storyline and
With Eddie
need to be a
Brock.
confrontation with Peter and him. And so it's just like, let's just hit pause. How will we do that? Doink. Got your bell wrong.
Oh yeah. Amnesia. Yeah. He'll forget everything and then we'll bring it back.
He literally snaps out of it like when his character would naturally.
No,
like,
he was boozing it up and hit like I wrote down boot. What did I write here for him?
He's like cooking with MJ. They're like doing that cheesy shit where
that's
like they're
awful.
having
My father
Come on,
booze
baby.
in a failed
Oh my god, I hated
booze
that
in a
scene.
failed scandal gets his memory back? Question mark?
Yeah, he like tries to give her a little smooch. Well, I think they do smooch, and
They
then
do.
she's like sorry, and then like leaves, and
Remember,
he's like,
he-
"Wait, what did I
He
do?
grabs
I'm
the
sorry."
scotch. He starts drinking the scotch again, and then all of a sudden, like
Everything comes flooding back to
Defoe
him.
like pops up.
Yeah.
That's why I put booze
Yeah.
in a failed affair.
Defoe jump scare.
Well, that'd bring anyone's memory back.
Oh my god, yeah. The writing of this movie is so transparent. I mean, say what you will about the first two movies, they're cheesy. At least like there's a lot of connectivity there. This one is just so many conveniences for the sake of the script,
Dude.
needing to do what it needs to
Remember
do.
you were saying like and then right, and then the second one because this one is just like fuck it.
Yeah.
Like literally,
end this
hey,
thing.
we're gonna have Peter and MJ fucking in a web up in a tree, and Venom's just gonna land right next to him.
Here's my idea, and I shouldn't say this is. This isn't my idea necessarily. I heard it from somebody else. Credit to whoever I heard this from.
Matt
But-
Parker. All right.
Yes, sure. It would have been a much better idea, right? You take the astronaut from the second movie. You have him in the beginning of it on this ship. He can't control it because there's like something bad going on. Maybe you don't even have to see it, right?
Yeah.
You hear about it in the news later.
Yeah.
But that's where Venom comes from. It like stows away on his ship that he took to
Yeah, it
space, is
kinda-
coming back to Earth, and that's like where Venom
That
comes
is
from.
an excellent origin story that would have taken all of 3 minutes and should have been in this film. I applaud that.
100%. That's not even like my idea. That's just something I heard that I was like, I wish that's what this movie did. I would get behind that 100%,
It's
right?
like an easy try.
Yeah.
Like, oh, they tried something.
You're right.
Like literally, you're watching this thing, and they're just spooning up in that web.
It's just
and,
like, oh, a meteor comes down and
and
oh,
happens
it's
to
black
land
goop.
next to Peter Parker. Like,
Hey, how would you describe Peter's life in the beginning of this? Wonderful. Where he's singing it at the play.
It's wonderful.
Wonderful. And it's like cringy song. You're like, oh my gosh, this thing is completely off the rails. We're 12 minutes into the film. Franco is staring at him from above. That look, the meme.
oh yeah.
And then from that point on, you're like, this thing is on another level immediately. And within the span of like 20 minutes, you get amnesia. Mary Jane is fired from a big Broadway play and reduced
One
to
bad review.
one bad review, fired, and is now a cocktail waitress.
Yep.
And Spider-Man's getting sucked off by the whole city. He's getting the key to the city.
Oh yeah,
because he saves Gwen Stacy.
Yeah,
played by my wife, Bryce Dallas Howard.
Don't forget too, guys, that there's a scene in college with Dr. Connors, and he asked about some really physics question.
He's casually missing an arm all of a sudden. I don't know if he was missing it in the first one.
He was missing it in the first movie.
He's supposed to be the lizard. He's
going to be the lizard.
He was supposed to be the lizard.
Dylan Baker Hall, great casting to be the villain for your 5th movie. Like, what are you thinking, guy? Like,
Sam, they hired a 28-year-old to be a high school kid. I mean, they're not thinking.
I can't.
But and by the Jonah Jameson's son, whatever, that guy's apparently a villain too. The Wolfman.
Really?
Wolf. Yeah. Well,
everyone's a villain.
Well, they just didn't do anything with it, but I guess in the comic
there's no
books.
scientific experiment gone wrong.
Dude, they go into college. Bryce Dallas Howard, Gwen Stacy answers the question, right? Mm. And then she looks back for no fucking reason at Peter. So you got to imagine Peter must be the guru in the class. And then he gets hit with like a spitball, and someone shines a light.
He gets hit by spitball by other nerds.
Yeah, and
they're not even like jocks.
And it's like, hey guys, don't forget this guy's a fucking nerd.
I can kind of maybe not excuse, but like I can kind of justify her looking back a little bit because they're lab partners, and maybe she's like looking back at him saying like, oh look, I did a good job, didn't I? Like, because
validation.
He says later like, oh, she needs a lot of help in science class, like maybe she's not that bright. Yeah. And then she looks back for validation. It's like, oh, look, I actually got it right. Did you see that? And,
I mean, I'm not that. I learned that's why
it's stupid. I agree. It's one of those things where like there's a kind of a reason there.
Hey, we're gonna make sure that you guys know we're developing that relationship, and also, by the way, he's a nerd, and just don't forget he's surrounded by other nerds. He's still the nerdiest of the nerds.
Also,
at Columbia.
It's been said to death, but I'll bring it up now because we'll probably touch on it eventually, right? Bryce Dallas Howard, natural redhead. You make her a blonde in this movie. Yeah. Kirsten Dunst, natural blonde. What do? Make her a redhead. Why not?
In all fairness,
I find it funny.
It
has no bearing on anything. Yeah. I just wanted to bring it up because it's amusing to me.
I kept reading that and I was like, well, it's not her fault. If they cast both of them at the same time, I'd be like, that was fucking stupid. Which wouldn't shock any of us.
Right.
Which...
Especially if, they're just concerned with selling toys. Put Venom in this movie, damn it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Topher Grace and one of the extras was like, yeah, and then I found out they're making me an action hero. I was like, whoa, I'm an action hero.
Yeah, with the frosted tips and everything.
Yeah.
Like, and part of it, too, is, like, there's not enough substance for him to be rivaling Peter Parker and Spider-Man.
Oh, We've talked about that. I mean,
right? Like, he gets fired because he plagiarizes.
Yeah.
Which, that's illegal. You can't do that if you're a photographer.
You trash,
Brock. Steal somebody else's stuff.
Yep.
But then apparently, and again, in this universe, apparently if you have one bad review or if you get fired from the Daily Bugle...
Your life is over.
Yeah, or if you're the CEO of a $1 billion company and one experiment goes wrong, you're doomed. You're done. You're deader than disco. Your life is over. You might as well join what's the guy's
Flint
name?
Marco.
Flint Marco in jail.
Dare you.
Like loser.
Flint Bronco.
Well, that's
That's
Can't wait till we get to that part.
Yeah.
And the other thing too I want to say is I don't think that I have an issue with there being 3 villains in this, but how you book it is it should be the Sandman is the heavy, like he's the first big bad guy that you have to overcome to get to, what would be Venom and then eventually Harry or
if that's the route you go.
If with the cards that you're dealt, that's what you got to do. Instead, they just put it all into one salad and have at it, and and that's part of the structural issues with the storytelling that's here. There's nothing. Peter doesn't have to overcome anything except his own emotions. Man, I'm a little bit bummed out.
Man trilogy, third part.
I was going to ask what it was about in your whole.
And I'll go back to my sexuality with Peter on this one, which is very obvious in this deal.
You keep hopping into that one.
Yeah, you go first.
All right. Ego. This is the combat of the ego. So as a man, you face masculinity, the form of identity, and the last one, ego, right? The humbleness that Peter had, him self-sacrificing for the city without taking much of the praise, right? And all of a sudden you hop into this one, the ego is now present with him, and it's, what route do I take? Do I bask in the glory that is me being Spider-Man, right? Or do I go back to my normal ways of, being, Peter Parker and being, humble, like I said, self-sacrificing, helping those out that are in need without rejoicing in any of the glory that is, Spider-Man. And that's the one that you face now with this one is ego. And I think Venom is the perfect representation of what the ego battles, with the id, the instant gratification that is always present,
Sure.
that we always want. And that's when he gets into that and you start seeing that battle as he starts forming more into Venom. It's into what do I want? It's into that narcissism. It's into that me, right? And that's where you get that constant battle, and that's why Eddie Brock eventually takes it over, is because he wants that immediate gratification. That's why he plagiarized and,
I'll give that to you.
Yeah. So go on. What's
So the first one, right? He's discovering his body. He's painting the walls.
Quite
He's
literally.
slinging webs out of his hand.
yeah.
Big change. The second one, he's struggling with his own sexuality, whether or not to tap in or tap out of the world, and he finds a balance. I don't know if it's healthy, but he's dabbling in both sides. The third one, if you replaced his superhero stardom with, let's say, like he's in a rock and roll band, what comes with success in rock and roll is drugs and women. And in this one, the drug of choice is a tar from an alien life force that takes him. And if you substitute that with like cocaine or some sort of stimulant, that's what would happen. Is he is disassociated, like when he's walking down the street dancing and stuff, he's completely disassociated with reality. He's in his own world, and it's dark, and it's the walls are closing in on him, and he is even to the point he's neglecting Mary Jane. He was going to be an honorable man and propose and all this stuff, and then he spirals out of control. And in doing so, he is now completely off the rails in terms of where he's going. So much like, take your pick of that excess of fame. First it was one woman, then it turned to two, then three, and then the toys come out, and it's like, whoa, that turned pretty dark pretty quick, and that's exactly what's happening. I'm reflecting on my life here.
Well, I noticed that very prevalently this time, especially watching this movie, because you get the scene where he puts on the suit. He's like, oh, this is something else, right? And the first time he has the suit, he goes after Sandman, and he thinks he kills Sandman, and he deals with him, and then he goes to Aunt May. He's like, Spider-Man killed that burglar that killed Uncle Ben, and she's like, Spider-Man doesn't kill people. And then he starts feeling bad about it, puts the suit away. It's almost kind of like, it's like his first use of a drug, right?
Yeah.
He gets scared of it, doesn't know what to do. He puts it away, doesn't want to touch it again, but he doesn't get rid of it. So then life goes on. He tries his best to get back with Mary Jane, and everything that happens with Harry happens. He kind of spirals back into it, and that's when he falls back on the suit. And then that's when he goes full Bully Maguire mode. Emo Peter Parker, puts the hair down, rock and roll, let's get into it. Bryce Dallas Howard, come with me. That's when he's fully invested in the drug of it, And I definitely noticed it this time, kind of like what you were saying.
And to it too, and I'm not trying to offend any of our gay listeners here, but there is something that's kind of a very walking on eggshells.
I'm curious how you're trying to wrap this in.
No. I'm saying with his perception of cool, he is a nerd, as established by every character in the movie telling Peter that he's a nerd. So what would a nerd think that is cool when he turns into Venom? He's supposed to be cool. He turns to emo, right? And on top of that, not to necessarily say a gay man would think it's cool to go to a jazz club and have a big tap dancing deal, but that is more towards that side than it would be the.
I kind of forget about the
heterosexual.
dancing.
That whole sequence.
How could
is
you
like,
forget?
Oh, dude. Because
it's very, you know what I mean? It's like who would think that's cool, you know, in terms of demographic, and that would be.
That's true.
You know, a depressed, drug-fueled gay man, and if you substituted, the jazz dancing or whatever with going out to a nightclub and dancing your butt off, that is something that's very prevalent in the gay community of, going and dancing and being in that scenario.
Yeah.
And so I think the peak of cool dancing is, like, in terms of bouginess, would be some sort of like an elegant dancing. So that would be like ballroom. You're not going to put him in a ballroom.
Like, this guy's so cool. He's got some fleet feet. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
He's very coordinated, very with it.
Yeah.
And I get that. Yeah.
And I can't really, it's from my guess.
Well, I read some reviews. I was reading
Oh, did you?
Roger Ebert's review on this thing.
Or did you, you film critic?
I just wanted to say, I'm curious what everyone else has to say about this thing. But so in all three of his Spider-Man conclusions, he left off questioning like Spider-Man's sexuality, and I was like, it feels kind of weird with like Ebert coming in and pulling that from this whole film as that's his last like 4 or 5 sentences in all three of his reviews. So, I mean, you might be onto something there, And that's a very true... I thought it was throwaway, fuck the studio, we're just going to make this as outlandish as we can possibly be. Mm-hmm. But,
Also, we're talking 2007, so it's... We talked about it with War of the Worlds, but you made your character emo, and you're appealing to people that are emo in that demographic. And if you're emo in 2007 and you saw that, you're thinking like, this is so stupid. Like they don't even get me. They're just conformists, like they're not relating to you. So you've really exiled the character completely, that nobody can relate to this guy, and the people that can won't.
Well, then that makes me wonder too, like how much of this was kind of purposefully done for a laugh. How much of this was like purposefully done not to like make him look cool, but to make him look like an idiot. And I'm kind of just wondering, like, some of it's got to be done like super tongue-in-cheek, right? With like some of the editing choices and like him dancing in the fucking street and like going into the store immediately coming out with a different outfit and like thinking he's hot shit. I mean, you get shots of women who are looking at him going like, ugh, like what the fuck?
Even in the world where he thinks he's cool, everybody still is like, what a loser.
But I think it's weird because it's out of place because of everything else going on in the movie, kind of being taken so seriously and like melodramatic. Like this inserted into the rest of the movie is just, it's like a square into like a circle. It just does not fit.
So yeah, I mean, so if you think about it, if you're Raimi, you don't have creative control. You're forced to write in 2 more characters you don't want to appease to a fan base. It's not like he had an affinity for Spider-Man. I mean, I think he did.
He was like one of the later directors chosen to like be a part of, because like it was originally going to be like either James Cameron or like some other people. I can't remember. I don't remember if it's him that owned 25,000 comic books or someone else that they decided to bring in. But it's, my point being is that this guy, the studio execs are coming in to sabotage your film with things that you don't agree with, that don't fit into the writing. What do? But I also can say I think we're all making great points, and this is what makes this film so great, is that it's so philosophical and pondering. Yeah, I agree. Yes, indubitably.
They did, and to their credit, they made a movie that to this day, like, nobody really knows. We're guessing right now, and the only thing that everybody's in unison on is, it's ass.
Like I said before, this is the first movie that made me realize movies can be not good. And it's one of those things where like I keep thinking about it and like the meme value, and I think there's a lot of people like me who kind of like had that similar experience of like, this movie had such a profound impact on me for better or worse, and it's going to stay in the cultural zeitgeist for decades to come. Not even just years, decades. Like, have you gone on the Raimi subreddit memes or whatever? Like, it's insane how many people still to this day find this movie as funny as it is. And I feel like I'm kind of one of them, because like this movie hits that sweet spot of like, it's kind of so bad it's good. Like, I don't know.
I'm in your camp, 100,000%.
Like I like watching this movie.
Both of you.
I like watching this movie.
And now, here's the thing. I like watching it too.
And you call me an ironic,
but for the wrong reasons. It's so,
and that's what I'm saying. I'm watching this for the wrong reason.
Say guilty
right?
pleasure. It's a guilty pleasure. This thing is such a guilty pleasure. That's why it's so nice to turn on.
Yeah, that's like a very like good blanket way to describe how I feel about it.
Like I wasn't going into this new viewing thinking like, oh, I'm gonna turn around on this. This will be my number one out of the three.
Oh, this is an underrated gem.
Right. No. Like some people have that view of like the prequels for Star Wars. They're like, actually, these movies are kind of good, aren't they? It's like, no, you're fucking stupid.
So bad it's bad, but it's enjoyable bad. I mean, this is like,
yes,
there are bad films that you just can't talk about.
Fateful Findings.
Right.
I disagree. And that is the best movie of all time.
And there are films that are so bad that you can have hour-long conversations about what the fuck was the director doing, because I mean, and it's gotten up to that point where it's like, how did you drop the ball this hard? It's kind of funny because I mean, this is like what teens thought Phantom Menace was going to be when that came out in 2000.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I remember being like really hyped for this movie. I was looking forward to this. This
everyone was Doc
one
Ock
of my more
out.
anticipated movies as a kid.
Yeah, if you watch the ending of the second one, you're like, okay, now and they're bringing Venom, so how are they going to incorporate that into this?
Well, they didn't know Venom was going to be in it. Venom didn't get revealed till Comic-Con before the movie got released.
That was a big deal for me when they announced that he was a villain in the but that was always the rumor. You know, it was kind of one of those things. Some people like, I read on the forum and you're like,
RVR came in and was like, tell everyone that Venom might be in it, and that way we can get the rumor mill going on the internet, and people are like, how fucking dumb are you? Like, everyone wants to see the movie anyways, right? Fans and not fans, like, who cares? This is like, he's trying to be Marvel before Marvel.
But then even if you don't show Venom, it's like, oh, you get to see like the black Spider-Man suit. That's going to be super cool, and like people are just going to be hyped for that alone.
It's a merchandising ploy.
Yeah, they allude to in all of their promotion for this film, regardless, this is going to be a dark chapter in the Spider-Man universe.
Yes,
like, real dark.
Yeah, okay, yeah. They went dark.
Well, I'm saying for all the fans that saw it.
You mean how I felt in the theater?
Want forgiveness? Get religion.
Yeah. And so you have it is a perfect storm of mismarketing, missing the objective of the film in your marketing. You've grouped together a slew of actors that don't want to be there, including a director. You have this insane budget that's going over budget every single day that the production is going on.
Yeah.
And it's just one thing after another, and decisions that are where you have this opportunity to salvage something. You know, I think about Apocalypse Now, where they're in the same circumstance, where it's taking like 4 years to make this movie and everything's going wrong and it turns out to be a masterpiece. And this is the exact same thing, because it is a masterpiece of tragedy that you're seeing on cinema. And it's just like every 3 minutes in the movie there is something going on that is baffling or shocking, or that
head scratching.
Yeah, that like even simple things like you never question the science of the Green Goblin or his capabilities. They explain it in like 2 sentences and they stick to it throughout the whole movie.
Yeah.
Relatively the same with Doc Ock. And in this one, you're like, wait a minute. So if it rains, is the Sandman just mud? And so why wouldn't you just take him? Or if he's in the water, he turns. So he.
I'm just wondering, like,
kills him.
How does he eat? How does he?
Does he need
drink?
to eat?
Does he need to drink? Does he need to eat? Does he need to like defecate? Like what's his anatomy?
Does he have internal organs?
Does he know where all the sand is in large dumpster trucks that are going throughout the city,
dude.
and he just navigates to do bank robberies?
I'm going to tell you right now, the problem that happened with these, and it's not, I mean, all three of them, compared to what you see with the new Marvel ones, right, with Tom Holland.
Yeah.
All of the characters that are created are scientific improbabilities that have no reasoning besides probably the Green Goblin is the closest, right? Because I don't even know if I could get really behind Doc Ock with the AI in the arms. And this one, you got the Sandman and some fucking weird thing that came out of the universe, right? And then in the next ones, you got Electro Man and the Lizard. Okay,
and the Rhino, don't forget Rhino guy.
Wait, he wasn't in it. Was he in it?
He was
Paul Giamatti.
He was in it. Air quotes.
At the very end of 2.
So they like
it's like The Incredibles.
They marketed Rhino being in Amazing Spider-Man 2. Like the last shot of the trailer of the movie is the last shot of the movie.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, where like he's about to swing on Rhino and then it just cuts and ends. People who go to that movie looking forward to Spider-Man fighting Rhino don't even get that. They don't even get to see him properly fight him in the Rhino suit.
That's awful.
Played by Paul Giamatti, by the way.
Yeah, another.
Oh, that's a really great casting choice.
Oh my gosh! Like,
hey, we really love our sideways people.
Hey, Spider-Man! Come at me!
As he takes the holdovers to the next level.
It says a lot for your film if you could just name anybody off the top of your head and they automatically are better than the actor playing them. Like, you know, Topher Grace. Like, you could throw anybody. And it's an improvement.
Hey, Parker.
But the
Parker?
The problem with it
Jesus,
is
Parker, you're such a Boy Scout. When are you going to give a guy a break?
with the villains in the next with the time, they're all actual feasible things. The Falcon, right?
Yeah.
Mysterio.
Yep.
And then
Oh, yeah, the Vulture.
the Vulture, or is that the Vulture?
Yeah.
And then
Vulture's just a guy who like it was a construction guy who got put out of a job by the Avengers and was like, well, I'll just build my fucking bird suit then.
It might be the Vulture in the comic book series too. I don't know if it was that or the Falcon, but the Vulture I think is like it's a foe in Spider-Man's universe. So they just
It's the Vulture.
they applied it to modern times. So
Yeah.
but the other thing too that I will say the Amazing Spider-Man got right ended after the second one. Third one and this one, ass.
I mean,
Yeah.
the
Third one
second
and
Amazing Spider-Man movie is nothing to like shake a stick at.
No, but my point being is
They got
I would
out when
argue
they
it's
need
worse
to.
than this one.
oh, I bet you those.
I watched both of those two, and like
I
I
haven't
don't
s-
remember anything.
I have not seen either of them.
At least we're talking about this movie at length. Like, you know,
Oh yeah.
Oh, those things probably don't have a candle in the wind.
that's a great
Or whatever,
expression.
yeah,
Very
hey,
poetic.
John.
Don't hold the candle
Speaking
in
of
the
Peter
wind.
Parker.
Yeah. But the third one for MCU, they don't even come up with villains. They just bring back all the villains in the third one. Like that one's
Speaking of lazy writing,
Thank you.
yeah.
That one's lazy, right? That's what I'm saying. I think Spider-Man's
Doctor
only good
Strange,
for two films.
I didn't get into MIT and my friends hate me. Can I disrupt the universe?
All right, fine. I'll do your little spell.
Yeah. And I'll bring back all the villains that you ever face. So that way we don't introduce the third one.
Quit saying stuff. You're screwing up the spell.
Yeah.
It's like you could stop at any time, but you know.
That would
This
actually
seems
be-
awfully dangerous. Again,
we
another
talk
scientist
about that
screwing it
one?
up, or a doctor screwing up the experiment.
Yeah. Doctors and scientists.
Yeah.
These
All
movies
the
are telling us
Spider-Man
not
movies.
to trust them.
That's what I'm saying. They're all failed science. Well, no, see that Mysterio not failed science and the Vulture not failed science. Like they're the most probable things going on.
Yeah.
That made sense.
Yeah. And
And
they
this-
had no business to be cool, and they ended up being pretty cool. I
Yeah.
love the Gyllenhaal reveal, or the moment in that one. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But-
But you gotta hold on.
When you find
That's
out
it.
something.
Yeah.
Yes.
But when he sits him down and like basically has a beer with him, and he's like putting his arm around him, deal, and I
Yeah.
was like, and he's like, well, why not start tonight? And like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
was like, this is really good stuff. And that
Yeah.
one kind of gets a little bit of. It's not the most like loved. Of
It's the one
new
that like
trilogy.
people don't remember as much because
Yeah.
it's sandwiched in between the first one, which people loved because like they didn't expect it to be as good, right?
Right.
And then the third one, people just have such a reverence for because
Yeah.
it calls
The third-
back to so
the third
many
one
things.
is Remember When.
Also,
Remember
Yeah.
when-
Instead
yeah.
of like and then or because of, it's remember when.
Yeah, you just remember.
is that the third one?
Yeah. Remember when
when-
Tobey Maguire
remember-
came and helped him beat the remember?
Bring him
remember-
back.
Yeah.
Bring him back.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of member berries in that one. But going back to this one,
Yeah.
to Spider-Man 3, I think it's kind of telling how much we're talking about this one versus like the other two, because like I don't know, we find ourselves going in and out of like talking about this film specifically to other movies or other things that are like kind of ancillary, whereas like the first and second one, we're like locked into those films. Like we're totally like into talking about them, good and bad, right? Whereas this one, it's like, whatever bullshit. I guess it's related to this. Hey, let's talk about No Way Home for a second. Like, I don't know. It speaks volumes to like just how much our own attention spans are focused on like discussing this movie at all. You know,
Very, very good point. Very good point. And I think it's because we have no idea what the general.
well, we're not even like we don't even have a through line. Here's how we're
here-
discussing this.
Here is a legitimate question I have.
Yes.
What are the stakes in the third movie?
You keep asking these. I can't tell. It's
You
Eddie
know the
Brock.
stakes in the second one.
It's Eddie Brock battling Peter Parker for $50.
Not until like
All right, and
Oh, yeah.
like them getting into
you got me
it
fired
for
from a part-time job. I was a 1098 there, you dick.
I pray to you, Jesus, kill Peter Parker.
yeah for losing your photo
For
job at the
making me
Daily
lose
Bugle.
my like contract job I had at a newspaper that's not even the number one in New
Lazy
York.
writing. Hey, how about this? Like fucking. Here's your $1,000,
He's-
Parker, for the camera shoot. I'd be like, oh fuck yeah,
He's
like
ruined me.
$50. Like, dude, fuck it. You could sell drugs for more than that.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
Oh my God.
And then Flint Marco, they bring it back to Uncle Ben. That's the stakes.
I hate that. So they were like retcon Uncle Ben's death to make him important in the story.
Yeah.
Like I do not. It makes everything that happens in the first one almost kind of meaningless. Like his interaction with the burglar and like that confrontation he has. It takes the weight out of it and just sucks everything dry.
It ruined. You never want to do something in a sequel that diminishes a previous film.
Yeah.
Like to nullify it. Like all of a sudden, we just built a time machine so we can fix everything that's wrong with anything. So that's what's about to
Doctor
happen.
Strange. Yeah.
And I'm sorry, and I'm not like saying this to be insensitive. Who's the actor that plays Uncle Ben?
Cliff Robertson.
Cliff Robertson, he was old as fuck before. He looks like he's like sinking out of his own skin in the flashbacks of this movie.
I don't know why they didn't just use an actual flashback from like, hey, we got enough footage from the first one.
They needed him actually interacting with Flint Marco or whatever.
Right. Now listen, son, you don't need to do this.
Yeah.
He's all stiff.
I had the gun.
He can't move.
The guy can barely move his face. He's like super. He like passes away, I think, like 4 years after this movie comes out.
Yeah, I mean, he did that. I think he lived to be 88, so he had a good run.
He had a good run, but like he was too old to use in this movie.
I don't
like know your limitations, right?
Hey, guy. Well, once again, casting just had a bad beat on it the whole time.
There's no like. Here's an easy one to avoid it. Let's just not go down that road and let's make the Sandman Eddie Brock's brother. And Spider-Man kills him, and then Eddie Brock is, I'm gonna avenge my family's death. Like that's pretty.
Well,
I'm saying that at around a table right now, and that's better than what we got.
I think there was some sentiment to having the Sandman. It sounded like Raimi had intentions of having him in this film. Like I don't know if he's like really prevalent in the Spider-Man stuff. But it made it, like, from what I was reading, it really made it sound like they were going to focus. That's why they got Thomas Hayden Church to play that role, because
a very good, serious actor.
And he would, it was supposed to be a prominent role, kind of like Alfred Molina. You know, I mean, I think he's been in a lot of prominent, serious roles, right?
Yes.
Like, I don't think he's like a
Boogie Nights, Magnolia, Raiders of the Lost Ark. This guy's legit.
Yeah, he actually took on that role for Doc Ock because he was a big fan of the Spider-Man stuff. He might have been the guy that owns 25,000 comics. But anyways, you get Thomas Hayden Church because you're supposed to play a serious role, and the visuals and the special effects they really wanted to pour into the Sandman. Like you hear some of the extras, DVD commentary talk about this. Like they're like, dude, they spent more. Like remember the editing guy in the beginning of "You're fucking killing me," or Well, that's your guy, but you know what I'm saying?
What's my guy?
Remember when you said you were just sitting there at the in Baltimore on the set?
And
you were
guy
just eating
started
lunch,
rubbing his
and
eyes.
he just walked out, and just started rubbing his eyes, and screamed into the universe, "You're fuck!" And that's how you felt with the editing bay guy.
Nobody saw the intern in the corner of the kitchen.
That's how they were acting. But like, I think they wanted to make the Sandman like it. And then all of a sudden, it's like Venom's taking over.
Yeah.
Figure out what to do with him.
I have a feeling that Sam Raimi had a very distinct vision of him turning into the Sandman. And that's a really good scene, right? Where he's like...
The birth of Sandman.
Yeah.
I like that scene.
No music. The thing's winding up. He morphs into the sand. And
Besides
the hand.
the stupid ass level getting into the thing, like that's the best.
I think that he saw that. I think he saw when they said you need Venom that he pictured it dripping onto him from the church bell, or like he saw that comic or whatever.
Right,
and he could visualize these key moments.
Yeah.
And he could see the ending of the film taking place on the skyscraper in the middle of the city.
Yes.
Because I did appreciate that, because the first two, it's like an abandoned the Shake Shack and an abandoned haunted mansion. And so they did something unique there. And he had this vision of all these pieces and not a story to connect it through, no stakes to hold any of this to.
It feels like everything's like kind of shabbily built around those ideas that he had.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like make it work.
Yeah, I think the only thing really holding it together would be in where they flub it again is Harry and Peter.
Yeah. That was supposed to be the heart and like the focal point of like where this trilogy wrapped up. Even if they were to continue with movies after that, that was supposed to wrap up like the Harry and the Peter arc, right?
Yes.
The Harry Peter arc.
Yeah,
the
Harry.
How great would it be if Harry got on top of Peter and beat him down, and
really beat him off.
Yeah. Oh, hey, paint the walls. And and
Peter's got to shoot his webs all over him to stop him.
So
You said that while I was drinking water.
Yeah, that's
classic timing. Classic timing. I got you in the
bad.
coffee. I got you in the water, man.
And imagine
ding, that's 2 points.
Imagine versus Peter going into emo mode and getting out of the suit, essentially, or out of his normal character.
Yeah.
If Harry just beat him into oblivion, like really pummeled him, and you have he broke his back.
The Batman style.
Right, and he has to crawl out of the cave kind of scenario and retrain and stuff. That's so much better. And you can also just put Peter on a tropical island in the jungle that Harry throws him, like you're going to live the most tormented pain on this deserted island in the middle of the desert or something. And he has to, develop his skills to get out of there. Be kind of cool if it was in the desert.
You're going
because then the Sandman could appear.
All right.
Like I'm just saying,
the Sandman goes to the desert.
hey, that sounds actually pretty good.
He was on Venom's space shuttle.
Yeah,
that we just dropped him off there.
I have a pitch I wanna throw at you guys.
All right.
And this was the note that I wrote down earlier that I wanted to remember.
Ooh.
So this it's probably not even going to be that great of an idea, but I just want to get your guys' thoughts on this. It's still stupid, but it ties in more of like what's going on. So Venom's whole weakness is like high pitched noises, right?
Right.
Like he's trying to take the suit off. Like he hits the bell, it reacts poorly to it. It finally has like a weakness, right? And then at the end of the movie, he's like, "Oh, I remember the church bell. Its weakness is high pitched sounds." And then he gets all the pipes. He like does the thing, and then Venom's basically defeated after that.
Toast.
What they should have done. And this is my original idea I came up with about 2 hours ago when we were talking about Spider-Man 1.
I think it might have been 4.
It might have been like a whole day ago. I don't know. Is Mary Jane is shown struggling as a singer, as a singing performer, right? Throughout the movie. It's wonderful. Like, she's getting criticized for her voice, can barely hear her in the back row, right?
Right.
Have it be where she needs to defeat Venom using a perfect pitch of her voice, right? She needs to hit like a perfect vibrato, high-pitched sound in order to help Peter Parker defeat Venom. I told you it was going to be stupid.
I mean, you know, that's an interesting. We at least
It would
give
have at
her
least
some,
tied into something,
She
you
gets
know?
something.
Yeah.
I'll give you. She gets something to do.
Yeah, she
you
doesn't
know,
do
like-
shit. That's what I'm saying. Like,
And
That-
it like
that
helps
is
her
in
not
fact
be
better.
like the most like helpless person on the planet.
Yeah.
Like she's been in all of these
hey,
past
she got
three
to throw
movies.
a brick in this one.
Yeah, she dropped it. She didn't even throw it. She kind of just let gravity do like 80% of the work there. She just had to
she
move
threw her
it.
shoulder into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
Maybe it's not the golden ticket idea I thought it was initially, but I'm throwing
it
it
would have
out
gave
there.
her something, and it would have helped. It would have. She would have partaken in. I mean, I'm anything that would have gave her more than what she was in this thing.
Let her and Harry or somebody take your pick. The astronaut, I don't care. But there are no side characters other than the villains, Aunt May, Uncle Ben, and you know Peter's core group. Like no other characters really get introduced other than J. Jonah Jameson. But here's the biggest thing: WrestleMania, biggest wrestling event every year. The main event is always 1v1. It's not 2v2. It's not a tag team. It's not gimmicked in a cage match or something dumb. It's two guys squaring off in the center of the ring, and you don't get that in this movie. Mm-hmm. At no point are they ever foot to foot, fists up, let's go in whatever the arena is.
Yeah.
And that to me is the biggest flaw of all
They
of this.
tried it. They tried it when Peter went emo and threw the grenade back at Harry. But instead of doing a cool
After he like karate chops him in the neck.
yeah, like hey guys, like we could have Dark Spider-Man versus pissed off Osborn kid.
They
And
made
like,
him they made Harry look like a vampire in that scene, by
Yeah,
the way. I don't know if you guys thought the same thing.
What did they do with
made
his
him
face?
they made him way more pale, and he had like his wild hair. He looked like Edward from Twilight. Like, they made him look like a fucking
He's doing
emo
this with
thing.
his eyebrows the
Yeah.
whole time.
They may as well have given him fangs. Like he looked straight up like out of a Twilight
Raimi
movie.
trying to tie in his horror elements.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe, I don't know. He just looks kind of like a pissed off pale pretty boy at that point.
Yeah, I mean maybe it's the Greasers versus the Socias.
I guess. I
Maybe
don't think
tied in some outsiders. I don't know.
we're reaching for whatever
We've been reaching this whole
possibility.
time. This thing that makes no fucking sense.
It really doesn't because I haven't seen it in however long, and I'm like struggling to remember stuff. And I'm like, okay, yeah, Gwen Stacy and the crane. Did Peter save
My
her?
wife.
What happens? And then, wait, why was there a crane? Wasn't it just
It's just
construction
all of a sudden-
workers
the
like
crane-
she's gonna
Dude,
blow?
the crane
What happens
operator is sitting there going like this, and it's just this
He's
giant
like
red
shaking
butt.
in his chair. He's like,
Yeah.
"You gotta shut off the generator." And then like it cuts to like Gwen Stacy and like a couple other girls like getting photo shoots in an office
Yeah.
across the way from the other building with the crane on it.
And then
So
they're
it's
like,
just
then that guy's like,
happenstance.
"What's that thing doing in my shot?" And then Gwen's like, "I don't know. That's acting super weird," and like walks to the window.
Let me
Like,
check closer.
yeah, can't you see the fucking thing swinging, lady?
Remember the line where the construction worker was like, "I wasn't even supposed to do this. Tom Cruise was supposed to, and he took the day off." And it's, they
Oh,
get the
stop.
world-
Yeah,
world's
you're
compared.
Not my problem.
Not my
Union
problem.
regulations, Jerry.
Yeah.
Eat me.
Yeah, no, they're Eddie. I just gotta say it because I wrote this. These are a couple notes on Venom and just fucking. Anyways, Eddie Brock is a fake and loses his entire name for $50.
Yeah.
Right.
Was
We-
it $50?
Literally $50.
Okay, that's
Well, he wanted the staff job, and then
Yeah.
Peter screwed him out of the staff job because he exposed everyone to him as a fake.
Yeah, for the one photo that he did, which was plagiarizing, but like at that, like, anyway.
Want forgiveness?
Who the
Get
fuck
religion.
cares? Yeah. And then Eddie Brock is Mr. on the fucking spot. He's in the church when Peter's going through the thing.
Well, Peter told him to get religion, and he went into a church.
And then he asked God to kill him, and God said, "No, but I'll give you Venom."
He
I'll do you one better.
He prays to the Lord Jesus Christ himself to kill Peter Parker. I
Yeah.
don't.
why
Having
why
a
go
Christian
there?
background, I don't think that's how it works.
No, that's why they're trying to say this guy's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
But pretty cool scene. and it's a trailer spot scene, which was really cool to check out.
It feels like the whole like lead up to that was just so that they could get to the church. It goes back to what Sam was saying. It's like cool ideas, cool imagery that just has like shabby bullshit surrounding it, just so it could get there.
Shabby bullshit surrounding. You want the ending? Eddie Brock knows about Flint Marco from nothing. Literally, he runs into him on the alley and goes, "Hey man," he goes, "Hey, get out of here! I'm trying. Unless you want your ass kicked in, by sand." And then he's like, "Hey man, I know you. You're Flint Marco. Mm-hmm. You killed Uncle Ben, and you're trying to save your daughter. But I can help you save her by killing Spider-Man." He goes, "Well, and he's like, "Yeah." And
he's like, "I know you want the spider dead. You know I want the spider dead. Why don't we team up?" And then it like reveals his like weird Topher Grace Eric from that 70s show face.
That? His face when he would go like, "Yeah, Parker, you idiot."
He's got like his eyebrows all like pinned up. They're like super sharp. He's got fangs. Why does he have fangs? Peter Parker didn't have fangs when the thing was on his suit. Why does he have fangs now?
Why did this thing take over his suit and then all of a sudden Eddie Brock just becomes Venom?
Marketing.
Yeah, the tar takes over Peter's suit. The tar takes over Eddie Brock's physical beat. The science
I know what they're
make sense.
going for, but it's so goofy when you have Topher Grace, who's not intimidating at all, trying to be like this awesome villain character that like people were looking forward to seeing in a live action movie, going, "Hey Parker," like it's just so lame.
Speaking of miscasting, they should have got Danny Masterson for that. That'd have been pretty
okay.
Oh boy,
on the spot.
Was that too dark for the darkest superhero movie ever?
30 years imprisonment. Scientology couldn't save him then.
That alone, I can't watch that 70s show anymore, and it
brutal,
was one of my favorite
right?
TV shows ever.
You these things that pop up with these guys doing awful things.
Yeah, like it makes it.
Everyone's a piece of shit.
You hope for the victims, but
everyone's a bastard except Keanu Reeves. We pray to him.
Oh, yeah. Without question.
Yeah.
Last thing about this movie,
I want to know who the casting director is.
Naturally coming to a coast here, but the butler,
Bernard.
Is there a more shoehorned exposition scene in?
Yeah, I just told you
cinema?
It's Flint Marco meeting the Sandman.
Oh no way, dude! Is that more than this?
I agree with Sam. This is pretty jank as fuck. And
it
sticks out like a sore thumb.
It's 3 movies built to this moment. And
he's in the second one. He ushers in the lady.
I'll give you that.
So he comes somewhere in the second one. Yes, I agree.
Oh boy!
Listen, no, I thought I'm not going to defend this thing. I'm just saying if he wasn't in the second one, I would have called bullshit. But he's in the second one, so someone had something where they're like, let's just use that guy, and we've got this set up. He had to sit on that for that long for no reason whatsoever.
Why wouldn't he have told Harry before that though?
Maybe like I don't know, night of.
Yeah, right.
Dude, why are you playing it so close to the chest?
He sees how much pain Harry's going through and like how much resentment and anger he has towards Spider-Man because of what he did to his dad, and then Bernard's just chilling in the corner, like letting him stew. Like any moment he could have stepped forward and gone like, "Hey, by the way, your dad killed himself. It wasn't Spider-Man."
Well, even his rationale for that is
he doesn't give rationale, does he?
I've seen things in this house.
Oh yeah,
I've seen many things over the years in this house. What did you see?
Yeah, that's
what are you talking about?
That
dude?
would be a great spin-off. Well, no, not really.
Yeah, the butler, Lee Daniels, the butler, like
Lee
not
Daniels,
the one you're thinking of.
Lee Daniels, the Bernard. Oh, you beat me to it, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, sorry.
I mean, that's fine. Great minds think alike, I guess.
In 3 sentences, might be 4, he reveals that Peter didn't, in fact, kill his dad.
Right. So clears Peter's name.
That he can properly do an autopsy and identify, like he can do police work.
Without having the glider there, he can identify that it was the glider that, in fact, killed him.
Yeah, his own device, the glider, sir.
He also revealed that he I
think those
I
are
guess
the
that
two
he
you
didn't
got.
respect Harry until that moment to tell him, or didn't have the courage to. I guess
Dude,
that would
Harry
be-
calls him by the wrong fucking name. He's been called. Dude's 24, and since he could talk, he called him Bernard because he didn't have enough respect to call him Bernard.
We forgot all of that. That the characters' ages at the current point in this movie are maybe 25 years old, while all this is going down.
No, well, yeah, no. I mean, yeah.
No offense, but at 25, it was like, I mean, you're more worried about going out to the jazz club, which I think that's accurate, than trying to do any of this. It just is it is the least satisfying, possibly, moment in the history of cinema.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
And then
there's a reason why like it's taken out of the editor's cut is because like everybody recognizes that it's the most janky shoehorned thing about not only this whole movie but like this whole franchise. Like people recognize, even the people who worked on this movie recognize that it shouldn't even be there.
Yeah.
Like there's a version of this movie that's better because Harry just shows up out of nowhere and helps Peter
Without explanation.
Yeah. Then like, you know, having Bernard spout off exposition about, hey, he killed himself with his own glider, which, you know, if you guys seen the bloopers for that scene, by the way, it's kind of funny, kind of sad a little bit too, because the old man can barely say the word glider.
Oh no.
He had to have like 17 different takes of him trying to say glider, and he just keeps failing at it.
Now, in
That's why
those
it's called
takes,
murder.
was James Franco calling him Bernard?
I
wanna
want
know-
they get. He called him Bernard. And he's like,
I really want to know. Like, one, I want to hear if Raimi calls him Bernard or Bernard, and two, I want to know when Franco lost respect for him.
Right.
Like, those are the burning questions out of this whole fucking film. Those are my questions.
Those are the Bernard questions
It
we have for
100%
this.
has to be that they completed filming. They were going to the reshoots. It's like up to the hour. This thing's getting released in a week, and somebody goes, "Hey, you forgot to do this," and they go, "Okay, we have 2 hours to resolve this problem." That's the only way I could like.
Is there's a cut of this film without that scene in there?
There's a cut of this film without that scene in there. I think they take out more of like the Venom stuff too, but I haven't seen it for myself. This is just what I've heard about it, so I don't entirely know how well it flows, if it flows well at all.
But
I would put money that it's still not a good version of the movie, just maybe slightly better.
they're talking about Eddie Brock, and they have to bleep out, substitute like Canada or something.
They like CGI out just this blank space. Peter's losing his job to nobody.
Yeah, it's just this big white, block that's on there, like the little fuzzy.
Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Yeah, they just blur them out.
Yeah.
Keep it all.
I'm genuinely fascinated if we could go to a different era and just see that and not have that scene and see how much like affected we are.
Yeah.
Like I'm really curious if if we got that and paid $10 to get that as opposed to what happened. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have defended it. Yeah, that's a big guffaw. And I'd really be interested to see like, hey, like what the hell? They were just fighting, versus
Just tonal whiplash versus like being bored to tears by exposition from a butler. There's another instance in this movie that I took note of, is that when Harry gets stabbed by he gets stabbed by like the glider, right? Doesn't he? It's kind of like weirdly poetic in that way, I guess. I don't remember exactly.
Oh, at the very end of
Eddie, like Venom has the glider and he's going to stab Peter with it, and then Harry jumps in front of him, takes the stabbing. And then Peter goes and fights Venom, and it's like kind of for a long time, and Harry's just kind of like laying down there dying, and MJ's trying to console him, but it's like some time has passed. He's been bleeding out for a while.
It's not as long as you think.
I feel like it was kind of long though. Like I don't know, maybe I'm just misremembering, but I was like, Here's James Franco passing away down there.
The two thing, like the one biggest thing with all these films is that the climactic fight scenes are very short for what you want.
Yeah.
Doc Ock is 3 punches. We have like Harry or Peter going to rampage mode against Green Goblin, but just throwing punches, and then Venom is kicking his ass after. I mean, you're right; it's kind of bleeding out, but like they go in from. I think he does the whole thing like, I'm going to do with Mary Jane whatever you're going to do with Gwen, And then he goes, no! And then like hits him one time and then does the
Yeah, he
Yeah.
plays the drums.
They just run. Yeah, chimes.
Which if you
Yeah,
look
like
at
he hits an instrument,
Yep.
and that.
That's the coolest thing that they came up with. Well, they had to because you could only either that or Mary Jane's.
No, the coolest thing
voice.
is the Sandman looking at him and going, "Thank you, Peter. Now I can go home."
Oh wait, was he still the
Always
giant
re-
blob?
He starts stretching away. He's like, "Thank you. Now I can finally go
you
in
freed
peace."
me.
Yeah.
That would be great.
It's like
I
turns
wish
into
that they
Lion
didn't have
King.
him drift away though. He just turned around and started walking as a Sandman.
It's like
that would have
He
been
has like
awesome.
little sand puffs underneath his steps.
Could
Walks
you have
into
done
the
it?
sun.
Could you have done it at like the beach or something that has sand and he blends in?
No,
he just drifts away.
shapeshifter. Yeah.
Thank you, Peter. I can now be with my daughter.
Sandman,
oh, no.
go home.
So stupid.
And then he goes down and Harry's dying and he's like, hey, I don't feel so good, man. You know, he kind of is giving the same energy he did when he was like in the hospital bed from the amnesia. Ugh. And then he's like, you're my friend, Harry. And he's like, best friend. Ugh. And then he dies. And then they're crying. And then the movie kind of like just melancholy drifts into the ending where like she's at the jazz club singing about how she's never gonna fall in love again, and he waltzes in there, and they like kind of she like stops the music, they look at each other, and then they hug very emotionally and stare into each other's eyes, and then the movie just kind of ends. And that's Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 3.
And
where we end off the whole franchise.
And the entire trilogy that's based around these three characters of Harry, Peter, and MJ, you're left sitting there going, why does Peter love MJ? Why is MJ even getting involved with this in any capacity?
Yes.
And how are Harry and Peter even friends?
Yes.
The only logical explanation is Harry and Peter were physically together.
No, they were on the. See, I'm gonna counter
And they
you.
were using MJ as a pawn to get back at one another in some sort of tizzy.
Same. No, because
sexual
you're not.
tension was
Yeah, what
palpable.
is this? They're not in high school anymore. They're in college.
Yeah, you're right.
They
They're
would
24
use
now.
Yeah, they would use men to do it. Like that'd be great if they just got
Maybe
MJ
they did
out
with
of
the
the thing.
Sandman. I don't know.
Oh my God! No, they
That'd be
grew.
pretty
They were
rough.
on
I can
the same
shapeshift into any
age.
size. I'm a non-binary celestial body of sand.
I've
so
been in tighter spots before, Peter.
I can creak into any. Sand is the most common thing that gets stuck in your crack.
No, I think they were on the same AAU
God.
basketball team, and they grew up playing ball together because that's what they did.
Hey, my old basketball.
Yeah. Remember when we did this senior year of high school for the field trip? Yeah, that's when we became best friends, Harry. Yeah,
He like passes it to him backwards. It's so cool.
Oh my God, yeah. Bernard, make us food.
Oh, I do have something to tell you, sir.
I told you it's master. Shut the fuck up.
Go back to your quarters.
Sir, I've been trying to tell you.
Just a quick moment. I've been trying to talk to you for the last 7 years.
about Norman.
Oh, no.
It's a very serious situation.
It's about your dad. Fuck off, Bernard.
Bernard, you keep talking. I'm going to make you eat Peter's spider webs.
Which one?
Harry, you're not supposed to remember that.
Oh my gosh.
That would have been fitting.
So you get done with the trilogy and you're like, well, 3 of the bad guys have like good guy finishes. Like, oh, they're okay. And even the Green Goblin's like somewhat sympathetic. The only one that's not is the guy that's taken over by aliens that's killed from... Does he die in the end?
Yeah.
Yeah, he jumped. Yeah, because like the whole like symbiote. The symbiote is like by itself. It's like freaking out. It's going into like Slender Man mode or whatever.
Yeah.
And then Peter throws like one of Harry's bombs at it. And then Eddie Brock dives at it and yells, "No!" And then he's like trying to claw at it and it like explodes and evaporates the both of them. Somehow there's no body of like either of them, especially Eddie Brock. You'd think there'd be like viscera just like strewn about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? If this were the boys, that would be like a gruesome affair, but nope, they just both disappear.
Peter's like, ooh.
He's like,
Ouch.
Better get that checked out,
Yeah.
Eddie.
That's gotta hurt.
Eddie Brock goes, oh, and then he just explodes. It's a nice callback to Willem Dafoe.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Oh my God, the casting of this is just fantastic.
I think we're not, pardon the pun, petering out of our conversation of Spider-Man 3.
We can wrap it up.
I think we can call it a night on this. This has been quite the endeavor. Sam, let's get into ratings. You're going first with this one.
So
I don't think we've said a single positive thing about this movie.
but that's what makes it so good. Is they took $250 million and did what with it? But in a way, they created something that you can't totally describe, create logic,
you can't look away.
You can't look away. You don't fully understand what's going on at any point. It's just this huge mess. I have it as a 3 out of 10. I'm switching that. 8 out of 10.
Hell yeah.
Just the enjoyability factor. I mean,
Nice.
this is just. I mean, it is a 3 out of 10 actual film, but I just enjoy this. I mean, this is all three of these have so many flaws, but in the third one especially. But it's like they did so much damage that it somehow has come out the other way, and it's like you couldn't pay somebody to be this incompetent and throw this many cliches and these many stories that go nowhere and tease you, and we're still talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
So for all that it's done to me, enjoyability.
all of us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what else is there? Like, you just left appalled and aghast, like, at all points in this. And guess what? We're like three people of the masses that have the least amount of answers. And it's also, personally, I enjoy this because I like the fantasy writing like you guys do and showed of, like, how to improve this. And it makes me feel like I would have been a essential person in this thing.
You would have had a level 2 access card. right in front of the casting director.
What do you think, Sam? Sandman should be on the beach so he could turn to sand, and I do like the desert idea if you want to fit that in there somewhere.
God damn it, he's right. Let's get Venom on that space shuttle.
Let's go to his buddy who's going to say MJ's going to scream him to death.
Yeah.
At some point, their head snaps. Beat what? Oh, beat him down. Oh, yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
You, like, look around like, oh, they're getting onto our inner themes here.
Oh, they're reading too deep into it. We got to close the dossier. I guess I can go into my rating. Well, I mean, what can I say that we haven't already said about this? It's a mess of a movie. It's such a piddle of an ending to a franchise, a Sam Raimi trilogy that he poured so much into. A lot was thrust upon him. You can see, like, the inner workings of a movie that might have worked. You can see the skeleton of something that could have been substantial.
Oh, yeah.
And meaningful, but it's just so bogged down with, like, cheap writing tricks and terrible special effects. We didn't even really talk about, like, the PS3 looking graphics and how heavily they leaned into the CGI of this movie and how poor it looked.
We got the writing.
We do. Yeah, exactly. We got that as a shield for it, I guess. And I'm with Sam in that I enjoy this movie thoroughly, not in the way that I should enjoy it, but nonetheless, the enjoyment is still there. And there's some things that I do like about it unironically, but at the end of the day, it's just a film that is so flawed. This is, I would say, a 5 out of 10 for me.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay. That makes me feel better.
By the way, I agree with any rating that you guys give because that thing's going to switch for me in a little bit.
Oh, yeah. No,
And
there's
once
no doubt.
you said the way it should be intended, we have no clue if they actually intended us to be laughing at scenes or whatever. Like,
Well,
this thing's such a cluster.
That's why it's beautiful.
I'll just say, Ari Arvid, is that right?
Avi Arad.
Avi Arad wanted this thing to hit the internet. All right, you brought it up, right? And we're in that internet culture. We want Facebook popping. We want MySpace going, YouTube rolling. We want people threading this out or talking about it on social media. What did he get? Memes. This is still all over. It's present pop culture. You can walk down and probably find a 16, like a high school kid could probably recognize a Spider-Man 3 meme, right?
My wedding entrance for my best friend's wedding, as I was best man, was the Spider-Man 3 dance.
Nice.
With him doing the finger guns and like the hand rolling and
I thought you were going to do the
the
tap
hip
dance.
thrusting. No, not that one. The more iconic one.
Yeah, the more it really is true.
Also,
because
people are snapping in that scene, and you can't hear any snapping.
it's true. We don't need to get back into the semantics of it all.
I think one of the only black characters in the whole thing look over him and like, yeah.
I think he
stamp
did. Wasn't it
approval that he's
jazz
They give
guy,
him-
like
yeah,
the celloist?
The
He was
seal
like-
of approval.
He's like, man, this guy can go.
Yeah, that's when everyone's like, all right, Peter's kind of hip. No, man, he's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I think this is like getting I mean, we always go back to food. This is like going back to a really bad restaurant. Or I should say a really good restaurant. No, I don't know exactly how I want to say. This is like
a restaurant with shitty food that
This
you
is
know
going
is
to-
bad for you, but you just can't help but eat.
yeah, exactly. Like
A
you said,
restaurant.
the enjoyability of it. Yeah, but it doesn't excuse anything. I mean, inversely related with my enjoyability, this is about the only way I could say about it. This is a 1 out of 10.
Oh, I agree with you.
This is
Right.
this is 1 out of 10. And you
As
know,
a movie, it fails so spectacularly.
Yeah.
but I wish there was an enjoyability, because like when you were like 8 out of 10 for enjoyability, I'm like, you might have swayed me just to roll, because dude, I think me and you were talking about this, and I found out it was on either Disney Plus or Netflix, and I went to like bed to this movie like 4 or 5 times trying to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just fun. It's just a fun movie to put on. I mean, it makes no sense. It's really easy to laugh at, but like, yeah,
It's rough.
I think you're right.
It's
like,
rough like sand.
Yeah, actual filmmaking course gets everywhere.
Yeah. I hate it.
It's like you go to Ruth Chris Steakhouse, order 3 milkshakes, and go outside and puke. That's this movie.
Like, well, you'd be like, what was your experience? And you're like, well, before or after the puking? And they go, no, just all together. And it's like, boy, that's really hard because one outweighs the other on certain days.
How was the steak? Didn't get it.
Yeah.
Baked potato? No. I just got the Oreo milkshakes and then vomited outside the front.
Oh my god.
Busted capillaries in your eyes. Yeah. Just very heavy vomiting. Very, very heavy. It's my reflection on the film. Anyways. That's what we got.
Speaking of heavy vomiting,
Oh, yeah.
we
Time
already
for some questions, huh?
That's on the next Poor West.
That's we cannot. I need to go to bed.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I'm teasing.
read it
No,
off,
I'm
read it off.
joking.
We're all
Like, I'm-
like ready to.
I know. We're a group slumber party, right?
Yeah.
You have a long drive back, I know. So I won't try to keep you too long.
Yeah.
But this is the part of the show where normally one of us would give a recommendation, but I already gave the recommendation last episode that we kind of swapped in place for us doing this trilogy talk.
Yep.
So I don't know if Sam, or if Mac told you what the next movies are going to be, but we're going to talk about Shawshank Redemption and The Green Mile.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
The movies that I recommended as kind of like a double feature thing. And I promise, Wes and Zach, we will get to your questions on that episode. It's not going to be nearly as much of an endeavor the next time as it is this time.
We got 3 Fs that are going to release different.
This I've come to the conclusion this will be a 3 separate thing, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to release this in 3 parts. Episode 63 is going to have 3 parts to it. It's going to be like Fast and Furious X or whatever, right?
Right.
3 parts to each.
Or it's going to be like
fucking movie.
Spider-Man 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Breakneck pace.
Yeah. We're
Until
going
the third one.
We're gonna dive in just like Tobey Maguire. Boy howdy, he looks like a frog.
Into that foam pit.
Thank you guys so much for listening to this episode of the podcast. Thank you, Sam, for coming back on.
Yes.
Appreciate
Hey,
it.
I want to say this to you guys. This podcast, is, like I say it every time, it's my favorite podcast. I really listen to everything. I get to hear one of my favorite voices, one of my favorite people, and also Mac.
I knew where that was going.
Yeah, that was a layup.
Yeah.
I could telegraph that from a mile away, but I
Yeah.
still appreciate it.
But you guys are very inspirational to me because I did start a YouTube channel because you guys did.
Oh,
And,
nice.
Yup. And,
Football?
Yeah, the BPA one.
Yep.
I have 175 subscribers.
Nice.
My goal was initially like, all right, I want to be like, get on your guys' level. And then
I think you already passed our level.
Well, Kyle had the 200 subscriber video, and I watched it, and I was
We
like,
have 200 subscribers.
We have 277 right
Hey,
now
how about that?
on YouTube.
get on. And so I just wanted to say thank you guys for that, and it motivates me to make more videos and do more of that stuff.
Hell
and,
yeah. People helping people.
Yeah. And
Bill-
so, and at
Bill
some point,
Shakespeare.
dream scenario is we do some sort of crossover collaboration between O-line and movies.
So, what's your channel called so that people can find it?
Yeah.
It's Block Party Academy. It's for offensive line play.
Oh, epic.
I mean, it might not be for our target. Hey, but we are plugging, so you get plugged.
So you can find me there if you like large men blocking other large men.
kind of like
into
the
it.
sad man.
Yeah, just kind of like Peter and Harry. Harry Peter. That's weird.
They can find you there then.
Yeah,
I'll,
the BPA.
I'll put a link in the description too, so people can.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
You might have to send me the channel
Yes.
if I can't find it immediately.
Oh, and I'm
but-
going to tweet this out too.
Yes.
I have a decent
Sick,
Twitter
yeah.
following, so
Yeah.
I'll put this out there. Try to get
Love
coaches
it.
to listen. So absolutely, guys.
Awesome.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
Thanks for coming on.
Thanks,
we
Sam.
appreciate it. Thank you guys for listening to this episode. Be sure to check us out on neoncrewpodcast.com. We're also on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already, and give us some good ratings on Apple Podcasts and Spotify if you haven't already. There's some merch on Etsy. Get yourself a crew neck, get yourself a t-shirt. That would be epic as shit. And shout out to Gideon for doing our music, and shout out to Lauren for doing our logo design. You could find their various pages in the description as well. And finally, Mac, what do we say at the end of this long and dusty endeavor that we've just gone on?
You know what? I'm going to kick this to my brother.
Now, I want to kick it back to you.
One more time.
right,
How about at the same time?
WWTHD.
Bye, everyone.